WP, I will not fight you. How dare they send an innocent child to stop me? You are neither innocent nor a child, but you are not going to complain if they want to make this fight extra easy for you. Again, I am called a child. As I stand in front of this warlord caught in a bath, with several women gathered about him, I sighed heavily. Despite being dressed in my blackened leathers, mud slathered generously across any open skin, and several belts and buckles with various armaments and potions strapped across my lithe frame. I felt my eyebrow twitch at the word child. It wasn't the first time I had been called that. The first time was after the incident, where I had, unbeknownst at the time, angered a witch. I was still a young man then, subtle beard and finely trimmed mustache. Roguish for sure, but who wouldn't be with my looks? A simple job, get into the potion shop, grab the coin purse and some rare ingredients and make my leave before anyone could notice. It was simple enough getting in, not even a lock at the door. I swiped the ingredients easily enough, some golden-hued mushrooms, some bark with a green tinge and bluish hue. The bark surprisingly burned my fingertips, but I had some cloth that did the trick. When I went for the coin was when the trap was sprung. Inside the small shop was a small wooden door that led to the back, and on a desk in the middle of the room the chest sat proudly and daringly. To my surprise, not locked either, but the flash of yellow answered the question in my head. My feet lifted off the ground, and there I floated, pondering why me, when a sprightly old woman, back bent with age, hobbled in. Her eyes were still half closed from sleep, and she yawned as she approached, still in her sleeping attire. I remember how surprised I was when she snapped her finger and I flipped upside down and began to be jostled in the air. All the goods and more fell from my sack and pockets. I yelped in surprise. Well, I tried to, but no sound came from my mouth. 3 pieces of golden rue and whistle bark from the Badlands. Her voice held age and amusement in it. Some would say you'd be wiser to fetch them from wanderings than it is to get with coin. Of course, if you cared for honest labor, you wouldn't be here, would you? I continued to bounce upside down, nausea beginning to overtake me. And of course you chose a potion shop like you all do, she added. I'm assuming you were sent by the pretty blonde girl 2 towns over. I tried to nod, but the bouncing made it difficult. I gave her an upside-down thumbs up as she continued her stare. Amusement crept in her eyes. Good lad, using your brain for once, she stated and snapped her fingers. The golden aura faded and I crashed to the floor. I softened the impact using the last bounce to twist my body, but by the gods it still hurt landing on my elbows and knees like that. Hell's curse it, I shouted reflexively and paused as I hear my voice. Yes, dearie, hell's curse it, she hobbled forward. Now what to do with you? I have no need of any more gatherers, nor do I have need of errand boys. My heart was pounding as she walked forward. I knew I was at this tiny thing's mercy, and each slow, agonizingly slow, step caused my heart's pace to quicken. Sweat was forming in my brow when we were finally face to face. I didn't dare move from my awkward landing, as painful as it was. The golden rue and the bark lay scattered around me. Well, I don't think I have need of you, so sorry, dearie. Her eyes narrowed even more than what I thought possible, an iron's coldness in her words. Fertilizer it is. She raised her left hand, her pointed index finger glowing a virulent green. Why I did what I did next, only the gods know, but at arm's length were the mushrooms and the burning bark. I grabbed them and flung them at her as I awkwardly fell away from her in terror. There was no sound, not at first as a flash of green and golden light burst in front of me. My vision flared white and fuzzy and try as I could make no sound as my bones crunched and popped, and flesh stretched and pulled. An agony if there ever was. And after an eternity, the pain slowly began to subside, a painful ringing in both of my ears, the only indicitor I could hear again. What in the gods' names did you do? Shouted a different voice, a younger voice. Scarier voice. The haziness in my eyes began to clear, and my arms felt much heavier than before. I rubbed my eyes and felt cloth. Standing in front of me was a woman in her prime. Gone was the curved back and mottled gray hair. Light blonde, curly hair atop the woman's head. The wrinkled skin around her eyes had subsided, and her jowls now supple and smooth. The clothing had managed to stay on her no longer bent and decrepit frame. At first I didn't recognize the dangerous old lady. Instead, she reminded me of someone I had met recently. That thought died pretty quickly when I met her eyes, and recognized the iron in them from mere moments before. Do you have any idea what you've done? She shouted. Do you know what you just cost me? About 3,000 gold coins, co-ownership of your shop, and 60% of your profits for the next 200 years. Purred a voice from the doorway. I managed to glance over at the speaker as I had been crawling backwards, and froze. It was the woman in front of me, but wearing a seductive outfit line with purples and greens. She had her blouse revealing. Wait, I recognized her and that blouse. It was the woman from the other town. Oh, don't be so angry with him, dear sister, the sexy woman said, smiling brightly. I've been trying to get you to cast your decompose spell on those ingredients for some time, except you kept using every other spell except the one I needed you to use. This was the 23rd one I sent here, you know. Angry sister turned her head to look over her shoulder. You cheated. You've been cheating. She looked back at me. All because of a spell reaction used by this idiot. She jabbed her finger at me menacingly. I had 3 days to win that bet. You did, said sexy sister matter-of-factly. And you cheated, angry sister exclaimed again, still pointing angrily at me. The rules never said I couldn't, sexy sister said smugly. And you lost. So now I guess I'm your new boss. She looked over at me. And what of the man-child? Man-child, I paused for a moment. What do you mean, Ma? My voice died in my throat. No, not my voice, but a voice I remember from long ago. I quickly looked down and realized why I felt so heavy I had shrank. Oh no! I pulled my sleeves up to reveal youthful arms and hands. The scar across the back of my left hand from that bad dice game gone. The scars on my right forearm from the time I drunkenly tried to seduce a merfolk, also gone. Oh, how cute, his voice is cracking. Sexy sister walked over and patted my head. What was your name again, child? Richard. Brandon's. Grayson, it's Grayson, and you hired me. Curses, my voice was cracking. Well, Cranston, since you helped me win the bet with Joan, you get to live. Sexy sister smiled. Unfortunately, as I think she still wants to kill you, I believe a good solution to keep you breathing is to become indentured to her until you earn her goodwill. Sounds good. Well, I began outraged, but Joan cut me off. Agreed. She glared sharp enough to cut sheep's wool. I wisely shut my mouth. I am well aware that the contract has taken effect, so I know the ruling will be upheld, Ivy. As for you, she said as she rounded on me, I've got plenty of work for you to do, tasks that I have no doubt will kill you if you fail. But should you survive long enough, you may be released from this debt. It's not like being young again is a bad thing, dear sister, Ivy stated. I know you wanted to age gracefully, but even you must admit that being able to stand tall and stretch your back is amazing. Silence you, Joan growled, then looked at me. I have a special task for you that you can begin right away. One that involves a former lover of mine who thought that having multiple women was a good thing. The warlord was now standing in his bath, laughing at me. The women in the bath laughed as well. Do you not realize who I am, child? The man roared, laughing as he did. I am the slayer of the Salt Flats, the conqueror of Ismidhill. I am blessed by the gods and cannot die in battle. I wield the boons of longevity and strength. I have slain armies and outlived their children's children. The man continued with his titles, as I pulled a single thin potion filled with a purple liquid. Boon Breaker is what Joan had called it, and she had a dangerous smile on her face as she explained my first task. I am Ivar the Immortal, and I shall not take this insult lightly. Tell me, child, he growled as I flinched at the word again, who dared to send you here? Tell me so I may flay them and drink good ale from their skull. Ah, that's my cue. Joan of Rothsfield sends her regards, I stated as I popped the cork and splashed the liquid on him. The immediate fear in his eyes at Joan's name made me squirm with guilt. I understand, Ivar, I understand. I left the bathhouse as the screaming started. By the gods, I would not stay to see her wrath fulfilled.